Hello, Kako. Mahalo for joining us today. We will begin with a pulley by Commissioner Kaneko.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the bounty that you bestow upon us. Whether we have much or we have little, it is through your guidance and your care that we take care of what we have. We ask that you would bless these proceedings. Let us make good decisions. Let us open our ears and hearts that we might understand the issues before us and the voices of our beneficiaries. We ask that you'd continue to bless us, especially Commissioner Freitas as he departs our company. Watch over our families, our friends, that we might be blessings to you. These things we ask in your name and give you thanks. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, the meeting is being held virtually on Zoom and in person at Halepono'i 91-5420 Kapolei Parkway, Kapolei, Oahu. Kali Watson, Chair of the Commission. Today's date is June 16, 2026, and the time is 9:35 a.m. Leo, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Freitas.
Here.
Commissioner Kalekini is excused. Commissioner Kalepa.
Aye.
Commissioner Kaneakua.
Aye.
Commissioner Lasua.
Aye.
Commissioner Marfil. Ew. Commissioner Namuo by Zoom.
Yeah.
Commissioner Nellis. Ew. And Chair Watson.
Here.
8 members present. We have a quorum.
Okay, we'll begin this morning with public testimony followed by the J agenda. The commission will recess for lunch and a contested case hearing at 12 noon. If there are any remaining J agenda items, the commission will reconvene at 1:30 p.m. to finish. Okay, the first person, Rose Hattori.
Rose Hattori. Jeez. Rose, you're muted. There you go. And if you want to enable your camera, you can do so.
Trying to do that.
There you go.
I made the
we can
slide.
hear you.
Okay. Okay. Not sure about the camera. Is that there? No. I just emailed you, Julia, about having 2. Would doing 1 now and wait, or just do both?
You can do both. And commissioners did get your written testimonies in their packet. So if you like, you can just highlight.
Yes. Oh, let me just start with 1 and then get to the other one. I'm sorry about my camera. Aloha, Chair Watson and members of the commission. My name is Rose Hattori, and I'm testifying today in strong support of establishing the Waiahuli Makai pilot program. It can also be known as the Waitlister Agricultural Access and Cultural Stewardship Initiative. While the department spends years processing technology software upgrades under Item C2 and millions of dollars on high-risk single-track mortgage financing under Item C3, our people are dying on the wait list. On Maui, the wait for land is generational. We need immediate, innovative, and legally sound alternatives that put Hawaiians back on the aina right now. The Waiahuli Makai pilot program provides exactly that pathway. This initiative utilizes a 2 to 5 year renewable framework to grant immediate agricultural access and cultural stewardship rights to DHHL waitlist beneficiaries, prioritizing our Maui waitlist, multi-generational applicants, and cultural practitioners. Instead of waiting decades for multi-million-dollar traditional subdivisions, this program implements a low-cost, high-impact model. Efficient lot structure clusters 5 to 10 acre parcels so that communities can immediately share basic water systems, productive land use. It opens acreage directly for color cultivation, subsistence crops, agroforestry, and vital cultural practices. Low-cost infrastructure. Rather than sinking millions into heavy civil engineering, it deploys smart, traditional techniques, hand-built swales, retention basins, shared water nodes, and all-wise style channels. Physically responsible cost strategy. This requires minimal DHHL capital. Beneficiaries contribute their own labor through sweat equity, and the program leverages outside funding from USDA Indigenous Agricultural Grants, OHA support, and nonprofit partnerships. Under a collaborative governance model with DHHL oversight, this initiative includes an explicit transition plan, ensuring participants receive priority consideration for permanent homestead lots or long-term agricultural leases. As you consider the department's budget, remember this key truth. This pilot program is not a temporary use. It is a foundational layer of the homestead system. I urge the Commission to formally adopt the Waiahuli Makai pilot program into DHHL's immediate planning and legislative packages. Let us stop funding shifting into corporate software and start investing directly to our people and our land. Mahalo. The second, do you want now, Leo?
Yeah, you might as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I am testifying today on behalf of our homestead networks regarding agenda items C2, C3, and C4. We stand in unified opposition to the systematic stripping of commission oversight and beneficiary protections embedded across these three items. First, under C2, the department requests
Rose?
DHHL refuses to provide clear data showing this reduces application wait times or increases lease awards. As proven in the landmark Kalima v. State settlement, sloppy record keeping causes catastrophic legal harm. Trapping legacy waitlist data inside unvetted and automated cloud software threatens to destroy the transparent administrative audit trails beneficiaries legally required to establish standing and breach of trust lawsuits. Second, under C3, the department asked to advance $25.232 million from our trust fund to act as a primary mortgage lender in Kapolei, a staggering $615,000 per home. DHHL relies on federal Native Hawaiian housing block grant reimbursements that are actively threatened by looming federal budget cuts. Fiduciary duty under Ahuna v. DHHL requires the Commission to protect the trust corpus for all generations, draining core trust capital and absorbing 100% of the default risk when alternative HUD Section 184A private lender guarantees exist is an egregious failure of the prudent investor standard. Third, under C4, the structural motive behind these actions becomes clear. The legislative package drafting phase, the chair is seeking expanded statutory flexibility to reallocate substantial trust monies freely across accounts without returning to this commission or the legislature. Let us be completely clear. This push for unchecked executive fund shifting is fundamentally illegal. It violates the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, which explicitly prohibits the commingling or cross-transfer of separate statutory fund accounts. It subverts Article 7 of the Hawaii State Constitution, which vests exclusive appropriation and spending authority in the legislature, not an executive agency head. It directly institutionalizes the precise administrative black box maneuvers that force the state into the $328 million Kalima settlement. Private trustees do not grant themselves blind, unchecked authority to move trust capital freely. We urge this commission to defer items C2 and C3, reject any legislative language in C4 that dilutes physical oversight, and support a formal resolution explicitly prohibiting the cross-transfer of funds without public hearings. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, to ensure that we can accommodate all testimonies within our allotted time, we kindly ask each of you to be as concise and efficient as possible. Please limit your remarks to 10 minutes to allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated, and we will help to ensure a productive and timely session. Okay, the next person, J1, Raylene Like.
Raylene Like. Raylene Like. Are you guys with Raylene Like? No? Okay. We will come back.
Okay, next person, J2, Tammy Chung.
She is here. Yeah, she's outside. Thank you, Kanai. Okay. Okay, when you do that, I will.
Aloha, good morning.
Morning. Morning.
My name is Tammy Chung, and I'm speaking on behalf of my husband, George Chung Jr., regarding the joint succession award for his father's homestead lease number 8450. I'm here today because of the January 22nd, 2026 letter issued by DHL, in which you folks have in front of you. In the letter, DHL states that the transfer through successorship lease was dated October 31st, 2025. The letter further states that on May 20th, 2025, Gerald married Jer, who presently holds a DHL residential lease in Princess Kahana. The letter goes on to state that Gerald and Jer each holds their own residential lease, which is in violation to department administration rules because a married couple can only hold one residential lease between them. On the second page of the letter, the DHL states that Gerald and Jer must decide which of the two leases they collectively hold will be surrendered to the department or transferred. However, on page 1 of the same letter, the DHL cites HAR 10-37C, which states an applicant who is a leasee or whose spouse is a leasee may be offered a lot if the applicant or the applicant's spouse states in writing that the applicant or the applicant's spouse, as the case may be, will transfer an existing lease or surrender an existing lease to the department before and as condition for the award of the new lease. Based on the information contained in DHHL's own letter, I am seeking clarification regarding whether that statement existed prior to, or the written statement existed prior to the October 31st, 2025 award. If such statement existed prior to the award, I would appreciate clarification regarding how the eligibility requirements under HAR 10-3-7C were satisfied and how that relates to the January 22nd, 2026 letter. If no such statements exist prior to the award, I would appreciate clarification regarding how DHHL intended to address the matter. I submitted this question to DHHL in writing and requested confirmation regarding whether a written relinquishment or transfer statement had been submitted before the award. My most recent written request was sent on February 10th, 2026 in an email form. To date, I have not received a response to that question. I'm not here to assign blame or accuse anyone of wrongdoing. I am simply asking for clarification regarding the application of HAR 10-3-7C. Transparency regarding the status of the matter and a timeline of resolution. I will also respectfully note that this is my third appearance before the commissions regarding this issue. I do not believe that beneficiaries should have to come before the commissions in order to receive updates regarding matters affecting their leases. Communication should occur through the normal administrative process, and beneficiaries should not have to repeatedly seek answers through commission's appearances. I appreciate your time and consideration, and I respectfully request clarification regarding the status of this matter and the next step moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, can I? Or Juan, one of you. Yeah,
There is a request also for public testimony on this issue. I would suggest maybe before we respond to any questions
okay.
that
That's
maybe the commission should hear from the party that's requesting
Sure.
for public
Yeah,
testimony.
when we first at, Jerry?
Yeah.
Kiki? Yeah, come on.
Just bring one out the chair.
I've been waiting.
Aloha mai kako. I thank you so much for this opportunity to speak in front of you folks today. And my name is Jer Keiki. And it's not that we are disputing what Tammy is saying. What really happened was that when their father passed away, that the next beneficiary was Lulu, or Trudy Louise. And then when Lulu passed away, before any paperwork was done, there was nobody under her to take, which is why it became a public notice. So when Gerald, my husband here at the moment, signed up, we were not married at that time. So his name went into the application at the time that Lulu passed away, or when it went public notice. So we got the notice that him and his brother and whoever else applied was going to be a part of it. Now, at the time, we were not married when we got that letter. And yes, I can put it in writing, but today was a spur of the moment kind of thing. And so I am here to say that I have formally written to Juan and Kanai saying that I was going to transfer my lease. And we were going to keep Gerald on that lease. Now, if writing and having everything in front, my apologies for that. I was not aware of that. But I would really humbly ask for this board to please take this into consideration, that we would like to keep Gerald on his current lease, and I will be transferring my lease soon because I have an appointment with the mortgage lender next month.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one.
Yeah, if I could, if I can bring all of this together, Gerald, as well as George Junior, who's sitting over there taking care of his child, they succeeded to the lease by way of successorship through public notice. The decedent, George Senior, designated a daughter. But at the time we were notified of the lessee's death, we were notified also of the designated successor's death. So because the successorship was not completed and there was no valid successor to the lease, the department was mandated to do a public notice. Public notice claims were received by both brothers, George and Gerald. At your meeting, Commission, on August 19th, 18th of 2025, the Commission accepted the department's recommendation to designate both Gerald and George as co-successors, tenants in common to the lease. The lease document was signed in October of 2025. As testified by Jer, at the time the successorship was being processed, the department had no information with respect to the marriage between Gerald and Jer. It was only after that we was made aware of that. Since that time, Jer and Gerald have been notified of the situation, which requires the transfer of Jer's interests or transfer of Gerald's interests in the lease that he succeeded to. They have made it known, or Jer has made it known, that she intends to transfer her interest in her own lease and retaining Gerald's interest in lease number 8450. There is an existing lease on Jer's, existing loan on Jer's lease. So it's my understanding the transferee is trying to qualify for a loan. So we will be coming forward once that process, well, we'll be processing that transfer and we'll be bringing that to you when the time is appropriate. But that's basically what the situation is. The section of the rule that's cited 1037 with respect to leases being held by individuals who marry, that section of the rules applies to applicants on the wait list getting an award directly from the department. It doesn't apply specifically on successorship, but we use that rule as a guide when those very situation comes up with regards to transfers or successorship. But I believe Jer and Gerald is coming forth and proposing a resolution to the issue of both Jer and Gerald holding interest in respective leases.
So what's the proposed solution that you guys have worked out, I assume? Have you guys worked on a solution or no?
Can I state that this situation has been going on for 2.5 years? This has been in the hands of DHHL. In 2.5 years, I did my own research. I have files here of the laws and everything. I studied on this. And for her to say that she didn't know, and for them to say they wanted the property, but yet for 2.5 years, we lived there, not one dime was given. They were given the opportunity to pay the back homeowner insurance, not insurance, but homeowner association, HOAs, which they did. And actually, we were willing to work with the brother in this situation and allow him to come live with us and have a part of this Ohana house. However, that check was canceled. He also broke into the home, changed the locks, took things from the home that did not belong to him, and he lost our trust. Mind you, it was trust that we had to repair after we came back to this house. So I want to express to you that even before we decided to take this home, we didn't want it. We didn't. We offered every single family member if they wanted it. And all of them turned it down except Gerald. But this is the one thing that made us come back to the home. Gerald was not able to financially pay for that mortgage. And because my husband had invested 18 years of paying half that mortgage, our parents had invested nearly 30 years, I could not see that home going to foreclosure. When we moved in, it was already 3 months back on mortgage and 3 years back on the home association fees. We had to repair that house. We gave up a lot. We gave up. My husband had a stroke. So we weren't getting the income like before. We had a rent subsidy. We gave that up because we could not transfer that to the mortgage. We either had to choose getting a free rent or come back to the home, and I had to go back to work to keep and protect this house and keep it in the Ohana. So I asked, we gave them chance. We gave them chance to communicate, sit down and talk. But Gerald many times said he did not want to include his wife. Till this day, he says he doesn't want to talk any business without the wives, only the brothers. And to me, my husband had a stroke. I am his power of attorney now. He cannot make decisions without me. So I will not let that happen. We have been manipulated by him for years. We tried to repair it when we came back, but he lost our trust. Do you want to say anything?
Okay. Do you want to say something?
Hi, my name is Gerald Chung. Other people, cool people know me as Toby. I wanted to say good morning, Commission, Boss Man, and everyone else who's part of this committee. I appreciate you guys' time. I understand the situation, what's going on. I'm not shying away of what she's saying, but what I'm not standing for is that's why I'm here. Clearly I think she's wasting time because we are here and we're trying to talk it out. You guys see that. You guys hear that I'm trying to work it out. How my finances are, it's no one's business, but I'm working it out. I said to my brother, I want to talk to him. To my understanding, on paper, it's between me and my brother, not the wives. I could be wrong, but you guys sent me the paper. You told me the lease is between me and my brother. So that conversation has to stay between me and my brother. How, if that's gonna happen, I'm not comfortable with wives. I think we can manage talking civilly and comfortably. We can do that. But clearly that the misunderstanding is clearly suggested. But again, I'm not shying away from my responsibility. This is a face that looks kolohe, but as usual, I'm the baby. So on the adult table, I was not a part of that conversation. I'm not that kind of person push my way to it. I respect my elders and the order. It's my older brother, so I stand under him. She said that my brother's, excuse me, broken and stuff that, but to my understanding, to do with the house, maybe he's incapable. So with that, if that's a problem, I think I'm grown enough to make strong choices. And with that, with the guidance of you guys, I'll be glad to support, provide, whatever you guys need. But I don't want to seem to step away from my family house because there's a purpose and love. And that's what I'm sure that you guys want to see in every house. Thank you.
I have something to add to that. And as much as we're not going to refute everything she says at this moment, but I can tell you from the start, we can refute everything she has said because some of it is not true. And I can guarantee that because we know of other people who are involved that could say otherwise. So at the moment, we will just keep it at that because from what we heard earlier, she asked for clarification. And I think Juan said exactly the clarification that she needed to hear. Now, she's not hearing the other stuff if we're going to give up the other, if Gerald is going to give up his lease, because I'll tell you now, he's not. We are going to work this out and he's going to stay on the lease with his brother and I will surrender my lease or I will transfer it. Mahalo.
Well, let me ask you, who's in the house now? You guys,
We are my family,
I see.
and we
And-
have a family of 7.
How big is the house?
It's a 4-bedroom.
4-bedroom. And then can you separate the?
No.
It's all one kind of,
Yes, we did keep a room for Gerald for over a year.
hmm.
And then we had a baby and it turned into a nursery.
Okay, so you have one baby and the two,
So we have 3 other children that live.
3 other children.
And then we have my daughter's boyfriend.
Mm. And then for you folks, you have a existing homestead lease. And where is that located? Same place, Princess Condo?
Yeah, same place, just
Okay.
up the road.
And how big is that one?
It is a 1-story, 3-bedroom,
2-bedroom.
2 bath. Yeah.
And then who's living in there now? You folks living there now?
Yes. Yes.
And how many people live in it now?
Us 5.
It's 5 of you.
Yeah, there's 5 of us, and then we have just family members that come and go that just
Mhm.
needs help once in a while.
So you're the lessee.
And I'm the lessee.
Okay,
Yes.
and how long have you been the lessee for that house?
2020
Oh, you
Since
got it from your
2020.
dad or something, or,
from my auntie.
oh, your auntie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I note something?
Yes,
The home that they actually are in is not the lease under her name. She actually lives, and I did bring this to the attention of Juan and Kana'i. And I did not know this until I did my investigation. And I needed to know, I needed to get the evidence of her address and lot number to Juan. And that's how I found out that the lease that's in her name, she's not the residence there. That is not her permanent residence.
Can I interrupt? Only because all of my paperwork is with that address. And so, yes, I still live there.
But she's not the permanent resident, which
okay,
is,
let's not get into
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
I guess the issue is house that you folks are living in. Sounds like it's a full house, that's for sure. And the mortgage is current.
excuse me?
Is the mortgage current?
Yes, we've been paying it ever since we lived there.
And you've been living there for what, 2.5 years?
2.5 years.
Okay. And then the place that you have a lease, is that mortgage current?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and you've been paying for that?
Yes, yes. Might I add that we did tell them not to move in until this was settled. We did tell them not to move in because we would have been fine taking over the lease, taking over the payments.
Mm.
But they choose to force their way back, and we can get into that later. But I'm just saying that had they had stayed out, we would have been fine with the payments because his address was on his ID. Their address wasn't.
No, but somebody had to take care of the house for the last 2.5 years.
Correct, because they kept
Rather than
taking
leaving
the
it.
mail and not telling us what they were doing with it.
When did you guys get married? How long ago?
Just last year.
Last year?
Mhm.
Okay.
I want to remind you that we didn't move into the home until 3 months after the mortgage is back. So nobody decided to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
The mortgage was back paid for 3 months and going into foreclosure. That is what erupted us to move. And we gave up a rental subsidy to move. We already had a beautiful home.
Good. Gerald, do you have a job?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it sounds kind of,
Um,
do you have a
really,
job?
Yes, cash up front or donations I take. I work also with the church.
Mhm.
So the church can donate and give it to me and stuff like that.
And then you've been helping pay
Yes,
the
yeah,
mortgage,
strongly.
your mortgage.
Somewhat, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Somewhat.
When you can.
Oh, when you got money, you help.
I'm
When
okay.
you don't have, you don't pay, you cover it.
Yeah.
Put it this way, we agreed that he would take care of the kids while I'm at work. So
Okay.
I would rather have that than pay for childcare.
So the house you folks are presently living in, is that adequate for the number of people that are involved in your family?
I would say yes.
So if you were to stay there, that would not be a hardship, but the concern is your interest in the other.
Correct.
That's where you're.
That's it.
So if there are a way to kind of deal with that interest that, and assuming this, I guess, award of the both of you guys is appropriate. So I'm looking for a solution.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we are too. And
And that's what I think.
the bottom line is we all need house.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you see that we're fine.
Right.
If they just do things alone, it'll work out. But again, if they're gonna pull the bear, then we have to talk this
Well,
conversation.
okay, let me also say, you guys are brothers.
Yeah,
And I hate to see, I've gone through this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have gone through where family are become estranged over property. And that's the worst thing to be, or that situation. So if there's a way you guys can resolve it,
boss man, we can, but between me and my brother.
Yeah.
But why now?
well, we can do it the hard way through a contested case hearing, or you guys can do it among yourselves and come up with maybe some kind of compensation or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it has to come from you folks. I hate for the commission to have to decide something. And more importantly, I hate to see, and I'm sure the commissioners feel the same way, that you guys become estranged. And it sounds like you guys to a certain extent are. So amending that relationship in a way that, not everybody may like it, but it's fair.
Yes, boss. thank you.
And
I
that's
appreciate
the
that.
key. It has to be fair.
Yes. I appreciate that.
Now, if the department screwed up and not screwed up, but if we can resolve it and help you guys with facilitating whatever agreement you guys come up with, then we'd like to do that. So would you guys be willing to maybe go through a mediation? We bring in somebody for Ho'oponopono.
I think we have some ideas, some people that we can sit with and talk. We can
Talk.
iron it out.
Okay,
Like I said, I'm okay. Me and my brother, we're comfortable.
yeah.
I'm clear, we know where this Habut face is coming from, but we're willing to, I can talk to my brother.
And I think, if we can have a person that is familiar with choices that
Yeah, yeah.
can be presented to you guys. And then you guys figure out, oh, well, this choice makes sense.
Yeah.
And both of you guys agree.
We-
Then we move forward and we'll help
We can do that,
facilitate
yes. we
that
want-
choice.
Not I just asked him if he wants to work this out and he said no.
So you gotta work
Me
it out. You can't just
emotionally,
ignore it.
have been put through a lot through this process. And only now they want to step forward.
So let's,
We tried to talk it out before we moved, but they didn't want to talk.
okay,
While we were there, for a whole year, we opened it, they didn't want to talk.
okay.
And now they want to talk. We lost our home. We gave up our home. They still have a home.
I understand.
That's what, they have a Hawaiian homestead.
I understand. Okay, but what do you want? A contested case hearing, or you want to sit down, work out a solution, and then we help facilitate that? It's very time consuming. You guys will probably become more estranged if you don't work it out. And that's really the intent here, is to try and help you guys work it out. You sound very upset and angry. There's a track record and history that, whether that's true, partly true, or whatever. I don't really want to get in that regurgitating and sifting through and finding out, well, he's lying, she's lying, or it's not the complete picture. That doesn't really help it. So moving forward and trying to look for a solution, I think bringing in a third party that's somewhat impartial can give you guys choices, maybe separately. Let's talk over here, then you guys talk over there, and then you guys come up with some kind of solution. But if we just sit here today and just kind of experience the anger and the expansion of this anger towards each other, that's not gonna solve anything. Now, it's a choice. If you don't want to do it, then we're gonna have to possibly require a contested case hearing, because we can't have the existing situation. We can't let it fester and get worse, because beyond that is the ramifications, and they're not good ramifications where we just leave it the status quo. And you do want a solution, don't you? You want a
They've
solution?
been wanting a solution years
Well,
ago.
let's go try and get one. How's that sound?
So if they came, okay, what is their intention? I think that's what maybe they can share
I
with
don't
you
know.
guys.
Let's get a third party in, and they can share it with that third party. You share yours, and yours seems pretty straightforward. You guys want to stay there. You guys have covered the mortgage for the last 2.5 years. You have a large family that seems like it's a perfect fit where you're at now. These guys, they feel that they have, or you, Gerald, feel you have a certain rights. Now, you guys have a lease already in Princess County, so that makes it more, what are you entitled to from this situation? I don't know, so
Yeah,
let's
we'll-
go
we'll-
talk about it.
Yeah, we have things to talk about, and we're working it out, boss. We are.
I don't want to give an answer now. I would
Yeah,
like
no,
time
you don't need to
think
give an
about it
answer. I'm not asking
and
for an
discuss
answer.
it with my husband before we decide.
You guys think about it, and then how much time you guys need to think about it?
Side note to this, though,
Mhm.
I want to know what took so long for Juan and
Let's not
Panay
let's
to
not get into it.
respond.
We're trying to move forward here. Okay, let's move
So
forward.
if, okay, is the communication gonna be open now? Do I have to come before you guys to get a response and an update?
Well, the commission isn't, I guess, empowered to order a contested case hearing if there's a disagreement on the successorship to your father's lease, and then how it should have been awarded, and how, based on your circumstances, it kind of, not a monkey wrench, but it does make the issue something that has to be addressed. But I do wanna look for a solution that you guys can both live with, and then but I think there's so much emotions involved here that maybe kind of a period of letting the emotion subside a little bit. Then we bring in and it'll be somebody you have to agree to sit and talk and look for and be presented with choices. And then you guys choose. If cannot, then we'll come back. You guys come back and we'll set up a contested case hearing. You guys can fight it out. Yeah, it's your guys' choice. You want to think about, why don't you think about it? Okay.
I
And
don't,
is there any more? And I don't want to go into the details of who did what or whatever.
when did they submit their letter in writing?
I'm not sure.
Again, just to bring this to a close, the issue that was brought forth by Tammy was the issue of Gerald and his wife Jer holding interest in a lease concurrently.
Right.
Jer has come forward and her intent is to transfer the lease, which will end up with Gerald holding an interest in his deceased father's lease that he shares with his brother. So the issue that was brought forward will be resolved by Jer transferring her interest in the lease.
But that needs our approval, right?
What's that?
Does that
With-
need our
with-
approval?
Subject to the commission's
Is
approval.
that person you're proposing, does that person have sufficient income to cover the mortgage?
That is
I mean,
what we're looking into.
yeah, so it sounds like maybe you guys should focus on that
That's
rather than trying to move into another mortgage situation that these guys have been covering for the last 2.5 years. They have a family, baby, all that. Do you want them to? And is it right that you guys come in and say, well, no, we want to move in, and they got one bedroom, but even with that one bedroom set aside, it's not enough. They got, a bunch of kids, so.
No, right, boss. The bottom line is, again, family is family.
Right.
I see this. Clearly, we all know that he needs a place, that he's growing family.
Yeah.
It fits. I believe. And again, that's the whole part of the family house. We've been strongly suggest that's a family house.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
It's a family house. The
That's your
living
brother
house.
over there.
Yeah.
It's
So
your brother.
it's the situation clearly he needs.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys want to remain brothers, right? Well, you got no choice.
We can be cordial and family without them having part of the house. We didn't say they couldn't come.
Understand. So let's, okay, thank you. We're gonna be moving on. We got other people we gotta deal with. So you guys, work with our,
They didn't submit their letter, right? Because you didn't clarify that question. I mean, they did not submit the letter in writing yet.
well, let's focus on your guys' situation and disposal, not disposal, but the, situation with the existing lease that you guys and house you guys are living in. I want to resolve that. So we'll deal with their claims and your guys. I don't see anything changing regarding your guys' situation. Continue to pay the mortgage, take care of the house, and then we'll try to figure out how to deal with their requests. Okay? So let's maybe look for some third-party mediator, or I don't want to get into a
If we agree
testing
so.
here.
I may just want to go straight to the.
Okay, and that's your choice. Okay, but think about it, and then we'll try to come up with some suggested mediators, and if you see somebody, or you can suggest somebody, maybe a pastor that you guys both kind of go to a church with. I don't know, but we'll try to look for a third party person to kind of work this out among you, and let's look for a solution. I don't want to get into all this past actions and changing locks, stealing stuff. That's whether it's true or not. Let's look for a solution. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, and then we'll get back to you on one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person, J4, Panela Kamahalo Anui Lai.
She's online.
That's a long name.
Panela. J4 Canela. We have you as co-host, so you should be able to enable your camera and start your presentation.
Next. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, J5 Kapua.
Sorry, hello?
Okay.
Oh, hang on, we're going back, J4.
Okay,
Canela.
Canela.
Hi, sorry about that. Okay, so I will screen share. our presentation. Good morning, DHHL Commissioner, Commission Board. My name is Canella. I am a part of Pono'olu'olu Community Advocacy Ohana. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Pono'olu'olu is a community. Let me see if I can minimize this. Community Advocacy Ohana. It is supports research, learning, public education on state, city, and community process and procedures. Its purpose is to help community members understand and engage with developments that are impacting at TMK 41008-008. Our purpose was created because there was a lot of community members that have expressed concerns or fear of possible retaliation, intimidation relating to individuals associated with the TMK and the Kauhale Initiative. It is intended to ensure that voices can be shared and documented without fear. We are requesting for the board to assist with support a cease and desist of all constructions and development at the TMK 41008 and surrounding areas due to impacts on health, property, flooding, and community safeties. There has been multiple DHHL beneficiaries that have been impacted by the backfilling, the 4 feet retaining wall, and the Whipple holes that cause flooding on their property. Due to the location of their property and the prior FEMA flood lines, they were unable to get flood insurance. So getting support has been very difficult for them. We are also requesting DPP to pause all permits, approval, and development activities for this parcel. So this is the parcel that we are talking about with the Kauhale House project. In March of 2025, the Land Survey Division had made this parcel a CFS to reflect the Kauhale housing project, but its main purpose and its main title is still government crown lands. But they have not been able to update that in the CIS. So even the documentation is kind of misleading to understanding that the historic history of this parcel is still crown lands. This is a proposed Mahia Village master plan that was approved on February 2026. This is supposed to house at least 189 houseless individuals statewide. So we're talking about anybody who is considered houseless under the state definition. Even if they come here on a one-way ticket, houseless 24 hours, they have ability to utilize the houseless resources here in Hawaii. Our Pono'olu'olu team has been trying to meet with all of the developers, all of the stakeholders, all of the individuals, council members, district members, to try to have them talk and mediate with us and allow transparency. There has been no updates, no conversations, but there has still been development. They actually dug about 12 feet down just to put in their piping. There is now fire hydrants on the land. There has been destruction for about 23 acres of the land. So they did go outside of their TMK 41008-008. These are the photos of the properties that are being impacted by the retaining wall that was built due to the Kauhale Initiative. If you look beyond the retaining wall, that's actually parcel 46, which is already a direct lease to another individual. So this Kauhale also encroached on other people's parcel land under the executive emergency order proclamation. That has been the main topic every state. This is covered under the governor's emergency proclamation. This is covered under the governor's emergency proclamation. The retaining wall and the Whipple holes are causing water to flow back into the residents' property. With the Kauhale initiative, the developers already filled 12.5 feet of dirt into the parcel, which caused the drainage system and the natural water flows through the area to push more runoff onto the neighboring yard. So instead of the water flowing from Old Street going back agriculture, which is MK 41008, it now sits on the beneficiary's property, and there's no drainage, there's nothing. It took about 3 to 4 weeks, almost a month, for this water to actually go down. We are still waiting on clarification pending from Mahiai developers about the different types of cement basins that are being installed, the fire hydrants, the tagging of the banyan trees, tagging of the la'alapa'au in the back. From the last conversation we had with Lisa Martin in April, she said that they would like to build a 6-foot fence, which blocks the Kauhale residents from bothering the DHHL beneficiaries. But DHHL beneficiaries are concerned because they would like access to their coral wall, the banyan trees, and also the la'au that is on that property. But as of today, we are not sure if the la'au is still there due to all of the destructions and all of the clearing that has been happening under the governor's emergency mission. So this CMK reflects the property's condition before any type of constructions or permit development happening. This photo shows where the parcel that was encroached on by the development, that they took out their papaya trees, their avocado trees, about 25 natural trees, which these trees were food producing so that parcel 46 farmers can donate it to our Waimanalo Health Center. This is actually the status of the wall from May. So the wall, the retaining wall is already cracking. It is already showing wear on it. That is the concerns of the beneficiary. What if the wall falls on their grandkids? What if the wall impacts the beneficiaries? Who will be responsible? Because it will no longer be on the Kauhale side. It will be on the beneficiary side. This is a serious concern raising because it impacts that the current development and existing residents and the surrounding community. It has been very difficult for us to reconcile, for us to try to help. The people and the residents of Waimanalo that are in opposition of this development, they're not against helping houseless individual. We are against development happening on a parcel without community transparency. We've been asking for transparency since October 11th, 2024, which is video recorded that DLNR and all the stakeholders involved, even John Mizuno, they apologize for not being transparent, but here they are still today trying to fast track this development and this Kauhale under the emergency proclamation of Governor Green. So we did request to have SHPD conduct a Kapa'akai analysis to check for cultural resources burial. There was one cultural practitioner that shared there is EV on the land. But right now, it might be kind of difficult for us to look for them because there has been 12.5 feet of dirt brought in from Mililani, different construction companies, sites all over the island. So also we're asking to test the dirt because none of the dirt that is brought into that parcel was tested. We do have Iwi Kupuna, nearby cultural sites, Vahipana, Heiaus, Pu'u, that is also cited in the Oahu sites of Oahu. We are trying to find ways to try to get a mediation with DHHL, and that's our whole goal today, is to ask if DHHL can please mediation for Honolulu to talk to the stakeholders and to have them put a stop to their development instead of them coming to our neighborhood board and telling us this is what we're doing. We're trying to set a precedent that you ask for forgiveness, ask for permission, set transparency, and then go on with it. Not just develop quickly, say I'm sorry, and keep going. Because it doesn't help the trust and it doesn't help the integrity or the ethical standings that us in Waimanalo are trying to have with this development. And that's where we're at.
Okay, any questions, commissioners? If not, okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next.
Sorry, so I guess the question was, will DHHL help their beneficiaries to get mediation with the different agencies and stakeholders that are a part of this development?
Yeah, that's, this particular parcel you're talking about, it's not a DHHL parcel, is it?
What about the beneficiaries that are being impacted due to the development of that parcel?
Well, we've got some development in Waimanalo. We're also going after acquiring some land. So that presently is our focus. I'm assuming that you will have recourse with the LNR. I'm sure they're going to respond to your requests for some kind of hearing or what have you. But that's not our jurisdiction. Yeah, we are concerned, obviously, if there's some impact on our beneficiaries. That is true. So we'll take a look at it. But again, this is not our project.
Okay, sorry, one more question. There has been hearsay in the community that DHHL is planning on allowing DLNR to take 6 feet of the existing beneficiary's land in order to continue the project development on making their one-way road. Could the
I'm not sure. Why
DHHL?
don't you submit a request in writing and we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, would it be a UIPA request or is there a different form to fill out?
No, just send us a letter.
Okay,
with that,
thank you
okay?
so much, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Have a great
Okay,
day.
then, you have a good day. Next, J5, Kapoor.
Aloha, o wau ka puakili I koa ka mai.
Hello.
No ka aina ho o pula pula ka awawa waianai mai au. Talo mai. Commissioner Freitas, I also want to thank you for your service, your time, your moku o keawe beneficiaries will definitely miss you. But we thank you, as we thank all of you for your time and your service. Even when we don't agree, we still appreciate you because it's reciprocal. You know, as a beneficiary, especially as a lessee who's vested in my home, my family, my generations to come, in that home and their own homes when they come of age and of ability. We need you to hear us because I couldn't tell you how many beneficiaries, directors I've had. I think Kali was the second one when I became a lessee. But thank you for your service. So I'm here because I still think the department is lacking its transparency. So when I hear communities like this in Waimanalo and like yesterday's Kaupe'a, you know, about getting information not only from the department, from government, period, but we hold you folks accountable for what we get and don't get from the department. And oftentimes, as a department works with other agencies, whether they be private or governmental, it's reciprocal. So what Tita was just asking is for you to help and look at their situation and look at the impact that they feel affects them. Because it's a community thing. When something happens in the Waianae Moku, regardless if it's in Nanakuli or at Waimanalo Gulch, which stretches our boundaries, or if it's at Makua, It's the Moku, it's the whole community. And again, we may not all agree, but hear our voices independently, hear our voices collectively. So the other transparency, I've made this comment before, was regarding this Zoom. I'm glad that we have Zoom, but we're not using it at its optimum, and I don't know why. I've asked for closed captions. I think we ought to have transcript, because while I was I was tuned in all day yesterday, but obviously I'm also doing other things. And so I had to mute what you folks were saying so that I could have conversations with other business. But if I would have had closed captions, what I do is I cut and paste and I save it to the side. But absent closed captions, I don't know what you folks said until I see the minutes next month. And that's not a literal what you said. It's a recap summary of what was said, what was decided. So Mike, if you can, to allow for closed captions and notes and the transcripts, excuse me, scratch notes, but transcripts and closed captions. I'm sure you folks are aware it's available in many other Zooms that you partake in, government and non. So we would appreciate having that. I'm sure it's part of your package. The other part is our geothermal concern, that the Waianae Moku is one of the locations being considered. We would like to consider it, but we need more information. We came out on Friday, but I think that the community that's being impacted is where the meeting needs to occur. So I've asked for a meeting in the Waianae Moku. Chairman Watson, has a meeting been scheduled yet? Kali?
No, we've got a list of different current meetings, but that's just the beginning. We're gonna have a lot more meetings.
Okay, and it will be time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a rush thing, but
No,
once
it's not a-
something hits the news, we all get puiva, just because we don't know.
Right.
And oftentimes that's what shuts it down, similar to the casino. That could have been a good conversation had we have had it with the beneficiaries first. If you inform us, get us behind you, if that's something that we agree to, we can holomua. But absent those conversations, not just with the specifics, but with the greater community, we have small and little voices. I'm a small voice. And the Ryan v. Watson case, I'm glad you folks had your executive session. As you know, we're all concerned, and at the same time not, because we know that it will withstand. But as a Kanaka Maoli who knows that my kingdom still exists, if we don't prevail, we're going to have to go further in America's laws. Because if their own law in 1921 doesn't stand, then where does their law in 1898 and 1894 stand? We all know that domestic laws of America does not extend past their borders. We all know, as Secretary General DeSaias had said years ago in a letter to Ruth Boulame, that Hawaii is under a clouded shroud of existence. And this is due to America's interference with our actions. So let us prevail and let us not depend upon the AG. We know what happened in history. The AG failed us when it came time to protect OHA and who can vote for the Hawaiians on what happens with our 20% of funds. Let us not depend on the AG only. That's why wonderful people like DeMont and many others have intervened to stand up to that. Heva. It's so heva that people continue to come here, whether you're first, second, third, 10th generation, doesn't matter, and then still want something that's not yours. Babe, I don't know my time.
2 minutes.
Okay. Then I also wanted to echo Rose Hattori's testimony, especially about giving your power of this commission to the executive, to our chairman. Our chairman is good. He's got innovations. He's got a lot of things going on. But you folks are here for that check and balance. You folks are here to hear our voices and to see whether you support our voices. But if the power is only in him and his pen, we lose. We all lose. And this is what is happening with America. That non-gentleman has taken his pen and making so much strokes that it affects every single one of us, regardless of our party, our race, our age, our gender. It affects us. And for most of us in this room, it will affect our babies as bad as it is affecting us, actually worse. But we know that his time is limited, as is all of ours. Also regarding E1, the courtyards at Waiopuli, or Waiopoli, I was not happy with our acquisition of that because we displaced others. And to a degree, that makes us as bad as others. At the same time, this being our homeland is for the Kanaka Maoli beneficiaries, 50% plus. We have to support it because it's been done. But it's so sad and tragic that it hasn't been the success that your short survey had somehow shown, Director Watson, that there's still vacancies. So with that overwhelming support for rentals, why do we have vacancies at that first place? So that's part of my testimony about overdevelopment on rentals, is that yes, our people would like it, especially when they get to stay on the wait list. That's what we need. That is. But let's not go crazy and have vacancies like our kupuna housing in Waimanalo, and then we end up with opening up. So again, Hawaiian Homelands for Hawaiian Home beneficiaries, 50% blood quantum and more. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Okay, next testifier, J6, Jermaine Myers.
Mahalo, Chair. Aloha, Chair and Commissioners. Mahalo for the opportunity to address you today. My name is Jermaine Myers. I am a Native Hawaiian beneficiary of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act since birth. A Nanakuli Hawaiian homestead lessee since 2001, and a longtime community advocate. I'm here today. I had first asked you to address two things, Nanakuli Cemetery and Nanakuli Village, public safety concerns. But I just want to give you an update that Corporal Pagan responded to my email. And so we're kuka. So there's some things that we need to iron out before I come back and address the commissioners regarding that. But hopefully I can just address the developer or the project manager of the village to address our concerns regarding public safety. So in the packet, I included the email that I sent to Corporate Pagan of HPD. He's our neighborhood board representative. But I also included all the information that I wanted to address with you today regarding the Nanakuli Cemetery, Nahasda grant proposal. So I'm here today regarding the proposed Nanakuli Cemetery, Nahasda grant proposal and concerns regarding Build Team 50. First, I want to be clear. I support preserving and improving the Nanakuli Cemetery. I support protecting Iwi Kupuna. I support improving burial records and creating affordable burial options for Native Hawaiian families. My concerns are not with honoring our ancestors. My concerns are with community consultation, accountability, and due diligence. The Nanakuli Cemetery is deeply personal to me and my ohana. My grandparents are buried there. My aunts and uncles are buried there. My cousins are buried there. Friends and classmates are buried there. Today, my mother is on hospice care at home. When the Lord calls her to enter eternal rest in his presence, our family intends to bury her Iwi at Nanakuli Cemetery alongside her parents, her siblings, nieces, nephews, and other family members already resting there. This cemetery is not simply a project site. It is a sacred place connected to generations of our families. That is why I was surprised to learn about this proposal. Although the proposal states that it receives support through one meeting with the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Association, neither I nor any members of my family were contacted, consulted, surveyed, or asked for input regarding the future of Nanakuli Cemetery. I respectfully submit that the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Association does not represent every beneficiary, every descendant, or every family with loved ones buried at the cemetery. Before moving forward with a project of this magnitude, I believe DHHL should conduct broader outreach to beneficiaries and descendants, such as mine, whose family members are buried there. My second concern is Build Team 50. According to DCCA records, Build Team 50 previously existed as a nonprofit corporation and was involuntarily dissolved after failing to maintain required filings. A new entity, Build Team 50 LLC, was subsequently organized earlier this year in February as a for-profit entity. I am not alleging wrongdoing by anyone. However, before DHHL supports a proposal seeking approximately $1,625,000 in federal funding, I believe beneficiaries deserve transparency and assurance that appropriate due diligence has occurred. The proposal identifies an $81,250 consulting fee from grant proceeds if funding is awarded. Therefore, I respectfully ask, has DHHL independently evaluated Build Team 50's qualifications and experience? Has DHHL verified the financial assumptions contained within the proposal? Has DHHL independently reviewed the long-term sustainability projections? What outreach occurred beyond the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Association meeting? How many individuals attended each meeting and how many of them are descendants of Iwi buried at Nanakuli Cemetery? Were descendants and families with loved ones buried at the cemetery consulted? The proposal itself acknowledges incomplete burial records and the need for additional archaeological assessment before future development activities occur. I strongly support protecting iwi kupuna and completing appropriate cultural, archaeological, and burial reviews. My request today is simple. Please ensure that beneficiaries are meaningfully consulted. Please ensure that descendants of those buried at the cemetery have a voice. Please ensure that appropriate due diligence is completed before any decisions are made. And please remember that for many of us, this is not merely a grant proposal. It is the resting place of our grandparents, parents, siblings, cousins, friends, and future generations of our families, including my mother. Mahalo for your time, consideration, and service to the beneficiaries of Hawaiian homelands. Kia kuapu, God bless all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, J7, Demond.
All right, aloha. Iman Kalai Manaole, co-manager of Ho'omanapono LLC, a Native Hawaiian Advocacy Corporation operating out of Waianae Coast. Forgive me, I get sinus. You know, the rains hit our Aina really hard and the grass is tall. So I was weed whacking 2 weeks ago and then I never used masks. So let this be a lesson. If you're gonna do weed whacking, try to use on masks. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in 2 weeks of sinus problems. A lesson I gotta learn at 62 years old. Unreal. All right. Okay, I wanna get into this real quick because I've been getting calls and stuff like that saying people blasting me on social media. I'm gonna give a rip because I don't pay attention to social media. My wife managed that. But they're bashing me because I'm supporting the geothermal. So I'm gonna say it here because this is where it matters. I'm saying it here because this is Hawaiian Homelands pushing the issue, and they're saying it here because it's the commission that gonna end up making a decision. So I'm gonna say them loud and clear so everybody can understand. I support geothermal in the Ahupua'a of Lulule. Okay, the Ahupua'a of Lulule. So if you now want trust beneficiary living in the Ahupua'a of Lulule, I would like to remind you that in the past, like for example, when I went to Molokai and I was trying to, in 2017, I was trying to get our trust beneficiaries to stand up for Molokai Ranch because I saw it on advertised on Sotheby's for $250 million, and it was claiming that you can be 1/5 of the landowner of Molokai. I said to them, you know, we get Nihao belong to Robinson. We get Lanai for James Ellison. What next? Gonna be Jameson in Molokai. And I got ran out of Molokai. The guys was talking crazy to me and all that. Hey, you don't come from Molokai, you don't say nothing. Even though my kupuna is buried at Kalaupapa. So I learned that lesson that if you're not from the Moku, you know, or you're not from the Opua, you know, kuli kawaha, yeah? So, where does that leave me today? Well, guess what? I live in Lulule. The pilot project is in Lulule. And we have people in Lulule that live there, but they're not on homestead, right? Except for, what is his name? Former director, Isla. His wife's house is over there, right? And get other family members that stay over there. But I'm one of the most vocal ones in Lulule. So anybody get one beef about that? I'll tell you right now, I will stand my ground and I support geothermal as a pilot project in Lulule. I think it's a perfect place for it because Pahe'ehe Ridge, which is right up the road, is a place that is also vacant unmanaged lands. It's prime in an area where you have access to water, sewage, and electrical in that area as well. And that a test project like the ones that's done in Aotearoa, if you look at the presentation that was done by Russell Kaupu, that was a really solid presentation. So I support that. So if you don't live in Lulu'ole, Aupua, yeah, you just have an opinion. Because you told me to stay out of your Aupua. All right. Anyway, number one, we need it. It provides a model that allows us to duplicate what is already being done by our whanau in Aotearoa. We don't have to recreate the wheel. They are doing it and they're doing it successfully. B, we finally have a major source of energy that is 100% owned and controlled by trust beneficiaries. C, the cost of trust beneficiaries to build this test project, or better yet, pilot project. I chose to say pilot project because I'm part of a pilot project right now in our is already authorized by the state legislature. However they got there, I have issues with that, but however they got there, we will never know for sure how great of a thing this could be until we try. Criticisms. Let's start with myself. For my own criticism, I have two. This has started out like it normally does, ass backwards. It's the department's sole initiative that pushed the state legislature for the money for the pilot program before this issue was vetted by the trust beneficiaries. This is a blatant breach of trust issue. So what I have done to fight against the department for this continued breach of trust myself, along with a couple other beneficiaries, we are currently on appeal in the Ninth Circuit, in part challenging the continuing course of conduct of breach of trust that the state of Hawaii and its agencies, including the HHL and this commission, by violating your fiduciary duties in this manner. So that issue is already before the courts, and eventually it'll get settled in the courts. This is why I know support coming to you and bitching to you all about my problems and what I feel about the commission or the department and all that. It's not beneficial. It's not working together with nobody. If we feel you did something wrong, stand up, go file your paperwork in court and go fight them. And if you're right, you're right, you're wrong, you're wrong. The court's gonna settle that issue. Therefore, I don't need to come here and waste time to argue, bitch, or attack folks on this issue. I'm taking this kind of breach of trust straight to the courts, where it matters. In fact, we will soon be able to have our case heard before the United States Supreme Court via Rule 11, starting as early as this coming October term. So both the department and the commission is on due notice that your days of bypassing beneficiary consultation process before any initiation of projects will come to an end. So the difference between myself and everyone else is that I act based upon the power of the law to protect our trust, while others continue to come here and start a bitch fest and bring in no viable solutions to the problem. Criticisms against me for even supporting this project. I have just one thing I would like to say. Niele oko. I would like to remind everyone who criticized me for supporting this project to reflect on your own position in the past to defend your ahupua'a. You told me and tell everyone else who is not from your ahupua'a to stay out of your business and that you stand to protect your ahupua'a. Well, so do I. I said that already. Well, guess what? There is no homestead in Lulu'ole. I'm here on homestead land. We also have trust beneficiaries on 94 acres behind where I'm located. They are trying to work with the department to be able to be there. We also have scattered lots in Pahehe Ridge that are solid homesteaders that have largely been ignored by the department. I would love for the department to work with these homesteaders to upgrade their dilapidated homes. Other than that, we have no Lulu'ole homestead. So I'm pretty much the only loudest voice in Lulu'ole. So you got my vote 100%. What does exist over the Pahehe Ridge is Waianae Homestead. And below us, where I'm at, is Waianae Kai Homestead. Therefore, as one of the few people who have any say in Lulu'ole, I continue to strongly support geothermal in Lulu'ole. All other opinions are just outside voices, but the very people that has repeatedly suggested that we stay out of their ahupua'a need to also continue to stay in their ahupua'a. criticism with the department, presentation on geothermal. I have just one criticism. We don't need to involve HECO. Now, I know I raised this issue before, and Carly, you said, no, we have to involve HECO. Yes, you are correct. You have to involve HECO if you're going to sell the energy outside. But if it's on Hawaiian homelands and we're not selling that energy outside, we don't have to involve the PUC, because the PUC is the regulatory agency if we're selling our power outside of the homestead. And HECO, if you involve HECO from the get-go, it's going to kill the project. It's not going to go anywhere because HECO has repeatedly killed or delayed solar, wind power, anything other than fossil fuels. They control and dominate the entire market. We are never going to be beholden to HECO as long as I'm alive if we're going to get involved in geothermal, because HECO is no friend of us. There's nothing Hawaiian about Hawaiian Electric Company. Nothing Hawaiian about Hawaiian Electric Company. I'm fully against them. So if we are self-funded and don't sell our energy, then there is no authority that governs DHHL other than the Hawaiian Homes Commission. You guys the one govern, right? You are the executive board that governs the department. Being that this is a pilot project, we should be cautious in how we manage this project and who we bring in as partners. In this project and what conditions we agree to do this project, build it too big, too fast, run roughshod over the interests of trust beneficiaries will only further disenfranchise trust beneficiaries. You're already going uphill with trust beneficiaries on this issue. Why would you make it worse by just running roughshod over us? You should include us at the table. You should include us in the decision-making, and you should truly consider that we be at least 51% ownership of this project. If we have 51% ownership of this project, we have the ultimate say. So I ask you to be aware of that. Okay, so my time is up. I just want to say that I was the one that started the petition of hell no to HECO and MECO, because they asked for $700 million from the legislature for taxpayer money to bail them out. And at the same time, they asked for rates to be increased on the taxpayer for our electricity. These guys can double dip on the taxpayers twice, and nobody even blink an eye. We don't need HECO involved in our business. Thank you. Aloha.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next testifier, J8, Kalani Hale Wilson, and Kepa Kaeo, and John McBride. Kua kia ai.
Aloha kako, mahalo Michael. If you can put up the PowerPoint, should I look at it from my side? But just waiting. Okay, here we go. Let's jump back on the fire horse. Mahalo to the previous speakers. We mahalo all the great work beneficiaries do on behalf of beneficiaries. Mahalo, nui loa, and thank you for your service. Makai Freitas, congratulations, Chair for the Democratic Party. Thank you for your quote this morning. Education is a key piece in our native Hawaiian rehabilitation and for our people moving forward. Relationships that have been built in this room and relationships will continue to grow moving forward, beneficiaries included. So inspirational. And again, thank you for your service on the commission, Makai and West Hawaii. We appreciate you. And just like my uncle, Eddie Wilson, Army General, serving on the Board of Regents for the University of Hawaii, and your father when we first met him, and we had a lot of relationship building with him. We look forward to our relationships to continue to grow and work on behalf of the Native Hawaiian rehabilitation, moving this forward. Mahalo. Next. Road to 7 billion. Let's stop the genocide. Association of Hawaiian Homelands, state of waitlister organization across the state. East Hawaii Homestead Associations and Royal Orders of Kamehameha e Kahi Mokuʻokeawe, we are all in unified support on this mission to create a bill for 7 billion to exhaust the wait list, put Hawaiians on the land, and begin our rehabilitation. So in this next month, we look forward to communicating with the Hawaiian Homes Commission today, DHHL, Office of Hawaiian Affairs, Hawaiian Civic Clubs, and other Royal Societies for the presentation on the road to 7 billion to stop the genocide. Next.
Aloha kako. Maikai. Thank you for your service, like Kalani was saying, and I know you do great in the next role. Mahalo for everything that you've done and guided us with, and we look forward to everything that's to come. So back on the road to 7 billion and stopping the genocide. Why? So a lot of Hawaiians have been, a lot of family members and Hawaiians have been calling, have been reaching out to us. You know, the Epstein regime administration is taking a full barrage. No funding for all Hawaiian programs in the near future, 27 and moving forward. Everything is at risk. The Hawaiian legislators refuse to fund the waitlisters and the dreams and the hopes and aspirations of Prince Kuhil. And then the other lawsuits that are following with Kamehameha schools and our centuries old admissions policy is being under attack. Our education is key to everything that we need as we move forward. And now the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, where we come in, the waitlisters, it's a great steep hill that we're climbing to get to where we need to be to fulfill the dreams and the principles and the laws of Prince Kuhil. And with this last blow that we have seen with the administration coming from the Epstein regime, the unification of everybody has been loud. We've seen the Democratic caucus. We've seen the farthest naysayers of Hawaiian homes and critics all pulling together right now. And they're pulling together to defend the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, which would have the effect, a heavy effect on the Admissions Act of the 1959 Compact Agreement to become a state or a star in this union. And so right now, our community is very ready for the possibilities of everything. And I think just to reflect on what we're looking at in 2026 and 2027, this is the most perfect and ripe time that we can have, and we can agree on such things, widening from our admissions, Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, our education from Pauahi, and so forth. And that's why we have to make these moves and catch on with this next. We have to jump on to 7 billion and make sure that we can sustain ourselves. Next slide.
Yeah, so the 4-point support plan that the Hawaiian organizations I mentioned already agreed to was the Youth Support Uniting Kuhil's organizations, Royal Order of Kamehameha, County Civic Clubs, and Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. Unanimous support there. Unanimous support to stop the genocide, which I'll be explaining following the next couple slides. And it mainly has to do with Hawaiians who die while waiting on the wait list. Do you support legislation for a $7 billion bill in 2027 to end the wait list? Unanimous support there. And I just added on another one to include the 49.9. Maybe someday we can change the admission policy. It can amend the act to add on the rest of the Hawaiians after the first 30,000 on the wait list is on the land. Next. So Kuhio Kalani Aonaole, I shared with this slide before with you guys. So what are we doing? We're doing is reuniting the organizations that Kuhio Kalani Aonaole created to move forward. So that includes all of you commissioners So I have to figure out, or if any of you have a suggestion of how I can get a letter of support to jump on this movement of uniting Kuhio Kalaniana Ole's organizations that he created in the 4-point support plan. Next. So stop the genocide targeting Hawaiians. President Harry S. Truman, he signed on the convention to prevent genocide. November 4th, 1988, President Reagan signed the Genocide Convention Implementation Act of 1987, which, because this is a 50th state and because this is a part of the union, um, that is in full implementation here. And that amended the federal criminal code to establish the criminal offense of genocide, which is an intent to destroy a national or a specific group, which what I'm talking about here is the waitlister, the 29,500 is the specific group that's targeted with the intent to destroy. So that began historically in the islands from the Committee of Safety, then transferred to the provisional government. And then next slide. So to the left is the genealogy of the intent to destroy all the way to today's time. Provisional government, Republic of Hawaii next. So with the Republic of Hawaii, they began the banning of Hawaiian language, which was the cultural genocide. They imprisoned Lili'u and Kuhio, heirs of the kingdom, which is a physical genocide. The territory of Hawaii removed universal health care that Queen Emma and Kamehameha IV initiated. The economic trade genocide is the Jones Act, and also removing Hawaiian laws with the Organic Act is also a political genocide. So the state of Hawaii, when the state of Hawaii became the state of Hawaii, they had to receive and accept the fiduciary obligation of the rehabilitation that was approved by Congress in 1921. So it's a fiduciary obligation. So with the state of Hawaii legislators not funding DHHL to administer the act to put Hawaiians on the wait list on the land is withholding that rehabilitation. And therefore, many Hawaiians died, many Hawaiians continue to die, which I'm citing as genocide moving forward. Next. So the oath of office. I will faithfully discharge my duties as blank blank to best of my ability as used in this section. And then before that, it talks about the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Hawaii, which is a compact between the two. And so they are knowingly subscribing to, choosing to underfund your department, who's responsible to put the waitlisters on the land, and many Hawaiians died. Kalima case, great example. They filed the case. They can't even find successors of those that was on the class action because many have died. Next. So this is the Purpose Act. I already went through this with you guys a few times. Next. So the legislature is withholding the funding of the rehabilitation approved by Congress. So the keywords to know in the Genocide Act is destroy, to damage something so badly it ceases to exist, loses its function, or cannot be repaired. In our case, waitlisters who died. Kill, to deprive of living the thing of life. So we was deprived water, housing, economics, social, political, cultural, many things. So let's stop the genocide violations together because the violations of genocide continue. Next, and this is my last slide. Solutions. Mahalo Makai for your service. We hope we can continue to work together as you as chair for the Democratic Party to stop the genocide. So let's unite Kuhio's organizations. Let's approve Mauna Kea C1 commercial lease to the waitlister program. Let's focus on $7 billion bill to stop the genocide in 2027. And then DHHL, we need a follow-up meeting because we're continuing to work together. And then we're gonna need a DHHL and OHA, maybe CEO joint meeting, couple group photos, So we believe if we have those things, we can stop the genocide, wipe off the list, and provide housing, land, healthcare, education, economics, cultural, political, social, physical, religious rehabilitation for all of the Native Hawaiian people, all of the Hawaiian people in the islands. Mahalo, and thank you very much, Makai, for your service. We will definitely miss you in this capacity. Hopefully, we can work together in your future capacities. Mahalo. Any questions or any suggestions?
Any questions or comment? Oh, okay, thank you, Kalanikia.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Can you announce Jojo or Kiko or Jojo?
Well, Jojo sent me an email saying she's having a hard time getting on.
So.
You want to try it?
No, an invite.
Mhm.
Um,
How about
I
Kik?
texted Kiko.
No response.
I emailed her. So.
About
I'll have
Sharon.
a 5-minute recess.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess and we kind of check out on these technical issues here. We just reconvene. Okay, we're gonna reconvene. The next item on the agenda, J11, Sherlyn Wahine Kapu, Honokaia leases 9043 and 10155. Information only. Okay,
Sherilyn, you have, you can enable your camera. George is not gonna do.
no.
Sherilyn, your turn. You have co-host capabilities, so you can unmute your microphone and enable your camera when you're ready.
Okay, no more. Okay, next.
Luana?
Okay, J12, Luana Keahe Alani. Kealani. Hawaii County variances.
Luana or Sherilyn?
Okay, next.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it. But she's in there. She just, I don't know why she cannot. I mean, oh.
Yeah.
Something happening.
Okay, Luana, are you on?
For Sherilyn?
Sherilyn?
I don't know if folks
Okay,
are having a
come on.
hard time.
Okay. Next.
Let's see. No. If we cannot connect.
Yeah,
then
let's
we're
just go.
Mm. Oh, wait. Somebody else entered. No.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, wait. Yeah, she's trying to log on. Here, check it out. 1 second.
Okay, we'll give her some time.
Okay. Can you see if you can help her? Oh.
That's good. Let's go.
Nothing. Wait, okay, sorry, Jim. Okay. Give, here, Mike, your co-host, go for it.
Let's see if that worked.
Sherilyn Wahine Kapu, one last time. Can you unmute? Or can you email me if you're having trouble unmuting?
Yeah, let's just talk about it. It's good. You wanna announce the next meeting? Put in there, the next, yeah. Okay, we've come to the end of today's meeting. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for July 27th and 28th. Here again at Haleponui. And again, mahalo for joining us today, and mahalo to all the commissioners that took the time to participate in this very important activity. And again, Makai, we wish you good luck on your new venture and phase in your life, and I'm sure you do well. So anyway, aloha. Thank you, everybody.
Great, Commissioners Kalepa and Namuo, we have contested case hearings. Hold on for us, okay?